This video is brought to you by Scopeic.com. Get yours now.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is fullphonedk.com, and what we have here is the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4X. Just a quick specs recap. It's got a Snapdragon 625 octa-core processor, 3GB of RAM, and 32GB of storage, and Xiaomi is thinking about launching a 4GB with the 64GB of storage. The major selling point over here is a 5.5-inch Full HD display, along with the 4000 mAh of battery. Now, let's get straight right in. To start with, it's got a stunning build quality. Yes, they have changed to the plastic top and bottom from the full metal body from the Redmi Note 4, but this still has an amazing build quality, including that 2.5D glass that adds up to the grip and somewhat premium feeling added to the phone. Turning on the phone can be done in two different ways. Firstly, the fingerprint reader, of course, that's pretty fast and accurate, and it also has a tap to wake, so you can double tap the screen to wake your phone, and of course, type in your password or use your fingerprint again. The display is very good. It's not the highest resolution, nor is it the brightest panel in the world, but it's got an accurate color reproduction, and you can change the white balance or the color contrast mode in the settings. Running up the whole phone is based on Android, and Xiaomi's proprietary user interface is called the MIUI, and it's now at the version 8. It still isn't exactly my favorite type of Android, but it's a whole lot better than the predecessors. I have to mention that I started using the phone by turning off all the MIUI optimization that kills your background app way too often than it has to. There are some glitches here and there, like the battery use screen over here that is still not optimized for the status bar there. And the third-party clock widgets don't work properly. And the notification bar has a search bar and the weather panel that I would like to turn off, but unfortunately it doesn't come with an option to do so. And on top of that, just like other Chinese phones, it displays the app icon on the status bar instead of the icons that they intend to show you on the bar. And while it does have the scroll capture like many phones these days, it doesn't work properly in all the apps, so it clearly needs some work. After browsing for the options for a little while, you'll find out that it's got a pretty neat options. Firstly, there's a dual apps that duplicates the apps for adding up an account that usually does not support the multi-accounts. There's a thing called the second space where it duplicates the user account, so you have two virtual spaces for your phone. And while the buttons printed on the phone are multitasking home and back respectively, you can swap the order of the buttons if you'd like to. But how is it as a daily driver? Performance, of course. It's got a Snapdragon 625, and this is beyond my expectation. Cortex-A53 octa-core might not sound enough, but it actually is, trust me. They've done a great job at optimizing their system. Apps are pretty snappy. Whatever you do, you will rarely see lags, except for the time when you actually have to multitask. Multitasking screen does take a bit of time. And also the GPU for this specific chipset isn't exactly the best, so if you're a 3D gamer or hardcore gamer, this phone might not be for you. But if you're just gonna play something like Pokemon Go, then you'll be fine. It does have all the sensors, including the gyro used for the AR mode, and it's also got an IR blaster on top, so you can use your phone as a remote controller. One minor downside for the performance might be the receiver. It's not the loudest in the world. Well, to be honest, I don't exactly have the best hearing in the world, so you could be fine with this, but I thought it could be louder. To nitpick a little bit, it does have the earphone jack on the top, not exactly my taste, I like it better on the bottom, but the speaker instead is pretty good for its price. It's not a stereo speaker, but a surprisingly good mono speaker for this price point. If you want to start taking photos, there's a 13 megapixel camera on the back. It's not the best camera in the world, but it takes pretty decent photos in daylight or in low lighting condition. Although low lighting photos could have been better, it's a bit noisy and grainy, but as I'm constantly telling you, this is less than 200 bucks. If you're more of a selfie person, you won't be exactly amused. It takes okay photos, but not the best. Now, right before we get into the verdict, there is one very important part left. That's the battery. And surprisingly, it's amazing. This is probably the best battery life I've ever tested on a phone. It lasts for 7.5 hours to 8 hours of screen on time. And considering that I'm always on the LTE network and I surf the web a lot, if not always, most of you will probably get even better battery life out of this. The great power does come with the great responsibility, and the caveat over here is the charging time. It does not support any of the quick charge technologies, although the chipset is totally capable of. And as a result, it takes 2.5 hours to 3 hours of your time to fully charge up that massive 4000 mAh of battery. So that's the Redmi Note 4X. It does come with some of the downsides, but this is surprisingly well-built phone, especially considering the price. I've tried a lot of cheap phones, but no phone, let alone Xiaomi, performed this well and was this well built, and overall, this is such a great phone. I think this is even better built than most of the phones that are 100 bucks more expensive than this. So if you're looking for a cheap, solid phone, here it is. This lacks in almost no division. This is so well built and so well balanced that I would suggest this to anyone if you can live up with the Xiaomi's MIUI. I'm sure this was clear enough. This is an amazing phone at an amazing price. I still can't even believe how Xiaomi can build a phone like this at a price point like that. Thank you always for watching. I hope it helped, and we'll see you guys later. Meanwhile, you can meet us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And I genuinely like this phone. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.